What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're continuing our realistic rebuild series with the Denver Broncos, as voted on by you guys in my comments. And we're coming fresh off the tails of our first failed rebuild. We did 3 rebuilds. We did the Raiders, successfully made them a Super Bowl contender and champion. We did the Eagles, successfully made them another Super Bowl champion. And then we did the Arizona Cardinals, and while winning multiple MVPs with Kyler Murray, when all was said and done, didn't have a lot of playoff success. Did not win the Super Bowl. I mean, that's what happens. Sometimes, no matter how good of a 10-year period you have, from drafting to free agency to development, things still might not fall your way. That is why it is so difficult to win in the National Football League. So we desperately are looking to get back into the win column here today with a Denver Broncos rebuild. Now, it's going to be a tough roster to try to build up around because their best players are old. Look, old. Like, most of their top 10 good players on their roster are not going to be here 3 years from now, which is a little scary, but it gives us lots of room to work with. So looking at the quarterback room, we got Joe Flacco. That's a horrible deal. We want to get out of that contract as soon as possible. Drew Lock took over for Joe Flacco. I don't know how many games it was. 4 or 5. I feel like 4 or 5 games at least in the 2019 season. He looked pretty promising, enough so the Denver Bronco fans think they might have their next guy here in Drew Lock. So we've already done a rebuild, not realistic, with the Denver Broncos, and Drew Lock was very, very good. I think he threw 45 touchdowns as a rookie. He peaked in. He never had that kind of year again, but he had insane numbers as a rookie, and I hope that he can have some level of that success here in this realistic rebuild. Going to the backfield, we have Philip Lindsay, who is really good. I can't think of a UDFA over the last couple of years that has been as impactful as Philip Lindsay, so we are going to feed him the rock a lot. And he's only 25, which is great age for a rebuild. He has the greatest throw, I think, in the Madden scans. We have Royce Freeman to be our RB2. Probably, I like Theoretic as a receiving back, but just given where we are at, we don't need him. We have Lindsay as our do-it-all, and Freeman will be the power. Janovich, one of the better fullbacks in the NFL. At wide receiver, Courtland Sutton is an 84 superstar dev, which is great. If you watched him at SMU, you knew he was going to be really good in the NFL. He was like one of those guys, too. Happens every draft year, every draft cycle. There's a guy that, coming into the year, he's kind of a first round, and throughout the year, he's a first rounder. And then right at the draft process, you start to overly criticize and nitpick. And that's kind of what happened with Courtland Sutton. He ended up, coming in the second round or something like that, when he should have been a first round wide receiver all damn day. And then now he's, paying really good dividends here for the Denver Broncos. Outside of that, so we have Deshawn Hamilton, who actually, in that old rebuild that we talked about Drew Lock going off, Deshawn Hamilton became a superstar X Factor, but they actually nerfed him a little bit. When we did that last rebuild, he was a star dev. Now he's been regressed down to a normal, but knowing what we have here, I'm kind of hoping that with Deshawn Hamilton in the slot, Courtland Sutton outside, we have 2 of at least our 3 wide receivers going forward. That would explain to me how there's a 27-year-old rookie here. Deontay Spencer got great speed at a McNeese State. He's a 27 rookie. Is he Mormon? This is weird. What? Was he a baseball player? Usually you're either a Mormon or a baseball player when you're that old in the NFL as a rookie. But so at tight end, we got Noah Fant. They drafted him in the first round into Iowa. Exceptional athlete, 75 with a hidden dev, 89 speed, 91 acceleration, 78 catching. So he should be one of the franchise premier players on the offensive side of the ball. They have a lot of depth here at tight end. We have Heuerman. I'm going to see if we can actually try to trade some of these. All these tight ends have upside. Heuerman could probably get into the 80s if you start to develop him. Jake Butt can get into the 80s if you start to develop him. Fumagalli could be a mid to high 70s. So there's definitely some value there. And if we could even get a third-round pick for one of these guys, I will probably jump all over that. But we'll throw them all up on the trade block right now. And, man, if Jake Butt didn't suffer that injury at Michigan, he probably would have been, I don't know, really, really, if he didn't have his torn ACL at Michigan, with how good he was at Michigan, probably don't have Noah Fant of the Denver Broncos if you had a Jake Butt. Going to the offensive line, oh boy, so we have Garrett Wallace, the first round tackle that hasn't really developed, even though he has a star dev. I remember they drafted him, he was super old, he was a 25-year-old. So probably going to need to get a replacement there at left tackle. Dalton Reisner at left guard. He can play guard or center at a K-State. He was actually a really good pick. I think they got him in the second round last year. He should be a fixture of this offensive line going forward. McGovern, solid. They got one of my favorite crappy players in Patrick Morris because he looks like a serial killer. That guy just killed a bus full of kids. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Right guard, we got Ron Leary as a veteran. He saw Wilkinson always develops decently. He's always one of like the younger free agents during that second free agency window on the offensive line. So we'll keep an eye on that. Keep some tabs on that. We got Juwan James. Signed a huge contract to come over from the Miami Dolphins. He's 27, which is not a great age, but given how not solid this offensive line is, that's not bad at all. Go to the defense. Okay. So we have Derek Wolfe, and we got someone, Draymond Jones. I'm probably going to have Draymond Jones start. We'll do something like this. We'll have Derek Wolfe start on left end, and then we'll go with we'll just flip Demarcus Walker over side here. So we'll go with Derek Wolfe. He's 29. I mean, he's solid, but that's, we'll probably move on from him as soon as we can. But we look here, Goetz. He's what's his development? It's probably not going to be too great. So let's go with the rookie Draymond Jones out of Ohio State, who's only 5 points below, but 4 years younger. It's going to be just a better long-term decision to have Draymond Jones start here at defensive end. Inside, Shelby Harris, solid defensive tackle. Really weird. I'd never really understand this because they run a 3-4. He's way too small to be a nose tackle, so I don't really understand. Maybe he's a sub package. I don't know. I don't watch enough of Vic Fangio's Broncos defense to understand this, but he's solid. We have Von Miller, obviously, doing Von Miller things. Superstar X Factor with the fearmonger. He is 30, so we are probably going to ride him to the ground until he's like 84 or 83 overall, and we let him walk into free agency. Inside the middle linebacker, we have Alexander Johnson. Again, what is with these old-ass rookies on the Denver? He's a sophomore in the NFL, yet he's 27, versus Todd Davis, who was 5 years in the NFL. We'll probably go Johnson and Jewell as our starting linebackers, just because Jewell can have a... I'm just looking at the age again. Like in 3 years, is he going to be a 75 or better? Most likely. So let's think about that long term. Todd Davis is solid in real life, gets a lot of tackles, but at this point, just makes sense to save $2 million, and we'll go with Jewell and Johnson at middle linebacker. And then we have Mr. Bradley Chubb, who's an absolute monster as a right outside linebacker, and I'm glad that we have him, given Von Miller's age. In the secondary, so we have Chris Harris Jr., superstar X Factor, shutdown ability. Kind of like Von Miller, really good player, but he is 30, so we're pretty much near the end of his career. We have Bryce Callahan, 27, a little bit better. Outside of that, there are, Yidam, 69. We got Duke Dawson, 69. They're both 23. There could be some development there. I'm probably going to have a little Florida Gator bias, and we'll have Duke Dawson be our third corner. Free safety, Justin Simmons, he's a monster right now. One of the best young players on this Broncos defense. Him and Chubb, 89, superstar dev trait player, 25 years old, as well as almost a scheme fit. So he's, again, should be a fixture like Chubb for this defense for most, if not all, of this realistic rebuild. Kareem Jackson, why can't I pronounce these names initially? I don't know. Kareem Jackson, coming over from the Houston Texans, can play corner, can play safety. He's pretty damn old, but he's still pretty solid. We got Will Parks here. Sure, I guess solid depth, really solid depth. McManus and Wadman make up our special teams. So, yeah, from top to bottom, we see a lot of old guys, a lot of roster turnover upcoming here for the Denver Broncos. I think this team's going to look very, very different in year 3 than it does right now. But we have some pieces. We have Drew Lock. We have Philip Lindsay. We have Courtland Sutton. We have Noah Fant on offense. And then you flip to the defense, and obviously you can't ignore Von Miller, but more so I'm excited about Bradley Chubb and Justin Simmons going forward. So that being said, we'll see if we can move some of those tight ends for some draft assets and get into year 1 of the Denver Broncos realistic rebuild. Pick, thank you, New Orleans. 3rd round pick for Jeff Heuerman. Kind of good news following a disappointing Week 7 shootout loss, 54-48 against the Kansas City Chiefs. We do have a breakout dev trade scenario. Philip Lindsay has gone from star to superstar X Factor, or superstar. Whoa. Hopefully we get that X Factor soon, but only up to a superstar plus 8,000 XP for Lindsay. We're at the midway point here of year 1, 3-6, so a little off the mark of where we want to be, but we're still kind of in the AFC West right now. Which is pretty good. Looking at contracts, we're not going to be able to move on from all of our old players in 1 year. And given the fact that we have a lot of salary cap, I wouldn't really want to. So we'll bring back Chris Harris on an audacious 1 year, $16 million deal. Justin Simmons, on the other hand, I want to lock him up long-term, 5 years, $54 million. Derek Wolfe, replaceable. Shelby Harris, I'm not gonna lie, he's probably replaceable. I mean, look at the rest of these linemen. They're all everyone here generally is replaceable. So we'll just get our 2 big fishes reeled in Harris and Simmons, and we'll figure out what we're gonna do with the rest of these guys a little bit closer to the offseason. At the end of year 1, we do finish with an exciting Week 17 victory over divisional rival Oakland Raiders. But we finished bottom dwellers of a unbelievably bad AFC West that's won by an 8-8 Chargers. We played spoiler, I guess. If the Raiders would have won that game, they would have won the division. So up in the rivalry just a little bit. As far as development, we had the one dev trait go up for Philip Lindsay, who went from a star to a superstar. Other than that, no dev traits were to be had. Even scenarios. I think we had one scenario for Bradley Chubb, and he failed to make it. Other than that, we had 2. Really bad. Really, really bad. But looking at the stats here, Drew Lock, really good year. I think that breaks records for both passing yards and passing touchdowns for a rookie. He's really good in the Madden sim. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He is really good in the Madden. 4,300 yards, 34 touchdowns, only 10 picks. Completion percentage is not great, but I'll take those numbers all day long. Running the ball, we got 1,200 yards, 12 touchdowns for Philip Lindsay, which is good. Receiving, we got 78 catches, 1,400 yards, and 7 touchdowns for Courtland Sutton. But Noah Fant, rookie tight end, 64 catches, 1,200 yards, 15 touchdowns. Those have to be records for a rookie at the tight end position. Hamilton, 607. We got 5 and 4 for Tim Patrick. Would like to maybe see a little bit better numbers out of Lindsay, but it is what it is. Defensively, Alexander Johnson, huge year. 141 tackles, 6 TFLs, 2 sacks, 3 picks. Bryce Callan had 113 tackles, 5 TFLs, 3 picks. Von Miller, 16 TFLs, 19.5 sacks. That might be the best rushing numbers from an edge that I've ever seen in a 3-4. I always complain when we do a 3-4 that I never get great numbers. Maybe the Denver Broncos playbook is what we need. 8 sacks for Bradley Chubb too, but that's scary from Von Miller. 3 picks, Chris Harris. I mean, this is really good defense. How did we not finish better? We had like all rookies, all world rookie performances on offense, and one of the best. I do find that when my box score stats on defense look good, like when my guys gets lots of sacks, lots of tackles, lots of interceptions, my overall defense is terrible, and that was the case here. We had the 2nd worst defense in the league. Doesn't line up. MVP is Tom Brady. In the AFC Offensive Player of the Year went to Tom Brady. Drew Lock coming in at number 6 as a rookie. Defensive Player of the Year went to Von Miller. Alexander Johnson was also the runner-up. Clean sweep there from a 5-10-1 Broncos team. Offensive Rookie of the Year went to Drew Lock. Noah Fant coming in at number 3. Defensive Rookie of the Year went to Drew Tranquil. Draymond Jones coming in at 8. Quarterback was Brady. Damian Williams at running back. Von Miller is best linebacker, but again, he's already at X Factor, so he's not going to have anywhere really to grow or develop. So it's first years of the books. Outside of the record, I'm happy where we're at. So let's get into the offseason and have a really good draft and free agency period. In our first free agency period, we're not going to spend a whole lot of money. We're going to try to lowball here Kendrick Bourne, formerly of the 49ers. He's kind of close. He's the closest guy to a route runner scheme fit. That is what we look for our wide receivers. If we get him, it's nice. If not, with Courtland Sutton and Noah Fant, we don't need a wide receiver. But here's something we do need: a nose tackle. So we have Andrew Billings. He is a scheme fit, 25.77. So we're going to come with a really nice bid to ensure that we get his services as our new starting nose tackle. Boy, 5th-year option, Garrett Wallace. Absolutely not. No, thank you. So with the 3rd overall pick in the draft here, we have 3 names, really. We have CeeDee Lamb at wide receiver. We have Andrew Thomas at left tackle, who could play left and or right, because we didn't pick up that option on Garrett Bowles. Actually, 4 options. AJ Epineza at defensive end, scheme fit, kind of a 3-4 end. Or Christian Fulton at corner, because I know Denver right now picks at, 15? Christian Fulton is totally on board right now as their popular pick, if not Henry Ruggs, who we've already used in 3 different rebuilds, it feels like. So I feel like given the landscape of our team, I am going to make the selection of... The smart pick would be Andrew Thomas. Like, we already have a... CD Lamb kind of surplus requirement because we have 2,000 yard... And at corner, we still have old man. Okay. It's going to be either Epineza or Fulton. I mean, you look at our secondary. We got Chris Harris, 1-year deal. Bryce Callahan's 28. And beyond that, we got nothing. But you look at the defensive line. We have Draymond Jones. It's got to be Epineza. That has got to be the pick. Even though it's kind of early. But it's top 3. People going to be burned out that we have top... Nah, screw it. We're getting them. Not even going to overthink it. Out of Iowa, 76. Hidden dev. 6'5", 280. Almost a scheme fit. Coming in with 80 power move, 82 tackle, 82 block set, 85 strength. No real weakness. Incredibly well-rounded player. Welcome to the Denver Broncos. I'm glad we made that pick because now we have a really good wide receiver fall into our lap here in T. Higgins. Out of Clemson, 69 overall, hidden dev. Has as good a chance as anyone to be our wide receiver 2 next year. Oh, to get a draft recap of our first draft with the Denver Broncos, I love the way it started with Epineza and T. Higgins because it's really, you know, if we weren't going to Epineza, the big splashy pick would have get CeeDee Lamb. But I would rather Epineza and Higgins versus CeeDee Lamb and whatever second-round defensive end we could have got. We got Lloyd Cushenberry III, center from LSU here. Most likely will be our starting center. We got Nick Coe, scheme fit, 3-4 defensive end out of Auburn. A.J. Terrell slipped to the 3rd round, had some first-round buzz as a corner at a pretty bad national championship game. However, and we're fine with that, 68 overall. We got Levante Taylor, 67 overall corner. We got Blackman, Christian Rector. I'm not going to lie, I made this pick knowing from our Rip City team that he's really good, and he is kind of a scheme fit for a power rusher, even though he's not an actual scheme fit. He's a 3-4 scheme fit at defensive end. And then we just got a speed back here, Pete Guerrero from Monmouth, coming in with 92 speed, 93 acceleration. So I really think top to bottom, we had a lot of picks, and we made the most out of them this year. So we're going to take preview of our roster here by releasing Joe Flacco, freeing up $20 million. That's just kind of killing our roster there a little bit. It's actually probably going to be easier to look at it this way. So we can see dev traits. So looking at the changes, not a lot of changes here. We're going to take T. Higgins to make him our wide receiver 3. We have Kendrick Bourne, who we landed in free agency with like a really low ball offer. Very surprised we got it. We still got Hamilton, who's nice. Noah Fant did not go up dev trait, despite having an insane season. Made the Pro Bowl. I'm annoyed, but I know there's some bugginess when it comes to upgrading tight ends in this game based upon performance, so I'm not going to get too hung up about it. And Drew Lock didn't go up any dev traits for winning Offensive Rookie of the Year. Flipping to the defense, we did have a dev trait increase here for Mr. Alexander Johnson, went from normal to star. Even though he is 28, I'm a little bit annoyed with his age. He's pretty nice. Justin Simmons went from superstar to a superstar X Factor, which I'm not going to complain about that. He is a zone hawk, 91. Bryce Callahan went from star to superstar. Nice. We already know he's very good in a Vic Fangio scheme, and I'm glad that he's continuing to excel here like he did in Chicago. Andrew Billings was kind of our big free agency signing at nose tackle. Epineza, first pick for us at pick number 3 in the first round. Going to be a starting at defensive end. So I really do like our team now. Given the offensive performance we saw they could do last year, Von Miller getting close to 20 sacks. This year, I definitely want us to compete a lot more in the AFC West. Our goal is to sneak into the playoffs via the wildcard round. I hopped in this week when I saw that Noah Fant didn't get a dev trait last year, but we had an opportunity to upgrade it in season. I wasn't going to miss that opportunity to get him up to a superstar because I think he is the best young tight end in this Madden world. But see, it's not all rosy. Missed Philip Lindsay's by a lot. I think Philip Lindsay needed 4 touchdowns. I mean, to get from superstar to superstar X Factors, incredibly difficult, and we focused on throwing the ball to Noah Fant this game, so can't all be winners. So coming up for the bye, 3-4-1. Again, not amazing, but things are still wide open here in the AFC West. So looking at contracts, I definitely will re-up with Chris Harris for another 1-year deal, pretty much at the same price if he will take it. He wants a little bit more. Philip Lindsay as the running back. I mean, he's been really good, so we'll bring him back. Okay, well, Johnson, we've kind of committed to him being our money backer to get a lot of snaps so that he could grow and develop, so we might as well bring him back. I guess Leary on a 1-year. Not ridiculous if he takes that. So, yeah, it pretty much comes down to Chris Harris Jr., and we'll up his offer just a little bit because we don't have nearly enough depth at the cornerback spot to let him walk. But it's not bad. Solid. So, we're not losing anyone big yet. And then we're not throwing around ridiculous amount of money because we have Courtland Sutton's deal coming up probably next year. And that is going to cost a pretty penny. And shockingly enough, in year 2, with an 8-7-1 record, we get into the playoff. We win the division. Back-to-back years, the AFC West has been horrific. I'll take that. I'll take an early little dub here in this rebuild. Looking at where we are, Noah Fant got the dev trait. That's the only dev trait on the offensive side of the ball. T. Higgins came out 75 with a star dev. On the defensive side of things, Epineza came out superstar dev, so that's looking like a really good decision, picking him over Christian Fulton or CeeDee Lamb, at least early here in this rebuild. Chubb had another dev trait scenario. This is a back-to-back years. He's had multiple dev trait scenario opportunities, and he has failed to make it, but he's still a nice player, 85 overall. Looking at how we got here. How did we get to the playoffs? Drew Lock was sensational touchdown-wise. 3,900 passing yards, 37 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. Completion percentage is kind of ugly, but I'll take those 37 tutties all damn day. 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns for Lindsay. 470 and 7 from Royce Freeman. So we had a good rushing attack. Receiving, Noah Fant is the best tight end in the National Football League. 70 catches, 1,100 yards, and 14 touchdowns. 6 yards shy for 1,000 for Sutton, 8 tutties, 600 essentially, and 5 for T. Higgins. Those are really good rookie numbers. Bourne's just solid. I mean, we did bring him into free agency, but I gave him such a low offer that really any production is fine. Defensively, Johnson has been really, really good. 123 tackles, 4 TFLs, 2 sacks, 4 picks, 17.5 sacks for Von Miller, 7 for Bradley Chubb, 6.5 for Epineza, 11 TFLs, and 5 for Draymond Jones. So, this is the best 3-4 defense I have ever played in, without a shadow of a doubt for a rebuild. I feel like I didn't even get these numbers when we did the Broncos rebuild a couple months ago. Yearly awards, MVP went to Lamar Jackson with, no respect to our quarterback here. AFC Offensive Player of the Year went to Lamar Jackson. Drew Lock at 8. Defensive Player of the Year went to Von Miller. Congratulations. Offensive Rookie of the Year went to Tua Tagovailoa. T. Higgins coming in number 5. Defensive Rookie of the Year went to Isaiah Simmons. Epineza coming in at 5. Fulton at 7. That was, maybe the other option there, so I guess that is a successful pick. Quarterback went to Lamar Jackson, Le'Veon, Edelman, Stanley, Watt. Von Miller is your best linebacker in back-to-back years. But it's all about making the playoffs here. We got our first AFC West title, and we have to run the gauntlet here, and we start things off by taking on Baker Mayfield and the 8-8 Cleveland Browns. Let's get a feel for how this Broncos team, Drew Lock, is going to play in the sim. We start off by kicking a field goal. Getting points early, I'll take it. It's better than getting shut out in the first quarter. They were able to get a touchdown, and we are settling for field goals every time we get down in the red zone, but we get an instant tutty to make it a 1-point game. Looks like a turnover there, costly. As we enter the second half, and the Browns are starting to pull ahead. We have stalled out, have not done a single thing. I don't think we've even crossed the 50. Oh. That's coming for a play here. 1st and 10 on the 11. Let's see if we get Noah Fant in the end zone here. See with the A route. Come on, baby. Oh, okay. There we go. We'll get something here. We'll get something positive. Noah Fant gets a touchdown, makes it look a little bit more respectable, but that is an ass whooping. The Cleveland Browns knock out the Denver Broncos 41-20. Baker Mayfield, 4 touchdowns on the day. Sutton had 100 yards, over 100 yards for Lindsay, but that's a rough one. That is a rough one to go out on here in year 2. But hey, we got a divisional title already. Let's get into year 3 and build on that. So I guess double good news is that the Cleveland Browns went on to win the Super Bowl, so we lost to the eventual Super Bowl champion. And then I went to check here, And we got an X Factor upgrade for Noah Fant, which is 100% deserved. He got max security, which is literally the worst ability to give him. Should have gave him literally anything else, but I will take that. It's an X Factor nonetheless. And on the defensive side, no dev trade upgrades, I don't think. But hey, I'll take that for Noah Fant, the best tight end in the National Football League. Gronk 2.0. For free agency here, year 2 going into year 3. There are some nice looking options here. We just don't. I don't want to spend a whole lot of money this year because I feel like next year is going to be an expensive offseason for us. Because I mean, we do need a tackle. Larry Tunsil, I thought about it. He's 27 though, and it's just not financially feasible for us at this time. So we're gonna go low key and just get some depth guys. Joey Slye to be a new kicker, new punter. Shy Tuttle, depth D tackle, and Justin Evans, depth strong safety. So for our final draft with real rookies, I think we did a pretty damn good job. First round, we had to go O-line. We're going to flip Risner to left tackle. So we have Wyatt Davis, uber talented guard from Ohio State. He will start at left guard. 75, hidden dev, really, really good player. Second round, we got Monty Rice, middle linebacker from Georgia. 70, hidden dev. We already have regression for Alexander Johnson, which is annoying because he's only going into his 3rd year. And Josie Jewell's not really developing, so I think a guy like Monty Rice, almost a scheme fit right out the bat. He's going to be a really good middle linebacker for us going forward. Then we just kind of filled out some depth spots. Hufanga from USC. We got Cole Van Lanen in the 4th round out of Wisconsin. And Kellen Mond to come in and be our backup quarterback to Drew Lock. But really, top two guys here, I think they should be big-time contributors here in the Broncos rebuild. Year 3. Trying to build off an AFC West title from last year. Here's how things shape up on the offense. Drew Lock, yet to get a dev trait, but he's still playing very well. Lindsay, superstar. Sutton, superstar. We have T. Higgins here, who is a star. We're actually going to bump him up to be our second outside wide receiver. Best tight end in the league. Noah Fant, now superstar X Factor. Offensive line, Wyatt Davis will start at left guard, our first-round pick, and Dalton Reisner will start at left tackle. We got, pretty solid offensive line. Not amazing, but solid. From the defense, Ebenezer, monster, 82 superstar. Callahan, 85 superstar. Chris Harris, keep bringing him back on those one-year deals, but he's an X-Factor corner. Those do not grow on trees. Simmons, X-Factor. Vaughn's an X-Factor. For the linebacker core, however, I am going to bump Monty Rice up to be the starter here, or at least a starter with Johnson. And, yeah, it's still a work in progress. This was a really awkward roster when he took over. Like, there still are some guys that maybe a little too old that I still have playing. Like, I didn't think at this point we still have Kareem Jackson playing meaningful snaps, or Callahan, or Johnson, and then you flip to the off. I didn't think we'd still have McGovern and Leary here, but we do. It's progress. We're slowly getting there. It's only year 3, and hopefully we can find ourselves yet again in the playoffs and be competitive and maybe go on a run. Coming out of our bye year 3, we're pretty much always at this spot, like 3-5, and this year the AFC West is not bad enough for us to still really be in contention. Back 3 wins from the Chargers and the Chiefs. All right. Pretty much a waste of a year, but we got to spend a lot of money too. Von Miller has been absolutely insane for us this rebuild, averaging, like 18 sacks a year. So we got to make sure we get him locked up. Courtland Sutton, stud at wide receiver, want him back. Chris Harris on a 1-year deal. If we can keep doing that, keep kicking that can down the road, we will. I'll take Callahan on a 1-year deal. That's a lot of money locked into 2 old corners, but they're still playing at a fairly good level. McGovern's solid starter, but we do have Lloyd Cushenberry, who could probably take over there. Hamilton's kind of old. Like, this is the year that we lose a lot of depth guys potentially, unless they come on really affordable deals. But we'll definitely make sure we get Chris Harris and Von Miller back, as they are really the identity of this defense still. And as year 3 comes to an end, we actually got hot near the end of the season. I think we won 3 of our last 4, but still finished 8-8, well behind the Kansas City Chiefs, 12-4. As far as dev traits are concerned on the offensive side of the ball, we did not hit any. We did find out that Wyatt Davis, our first-round selection, came out with a superstar dev, which is dope. I'm not going to ever complain about that. Drew Lock's developed into the 82s. Sutton's a 90. All these guys are scheme fits because, that's one of the main goals is that when applicable, we try to make guys scheme fits. On the defense, Monty Rice played a lot of linebacker too. He's up to a 75. He emerged as a star dev, which is, a little underwhelming, but still it's not too bad. Flipping a look at the stats on the year. Drew Lock, pretty good. We might actually have an upgrade for him. He might 4,400 yards, 34 touchdowns. To say he's been good. Drew Lock has been good. There's no other way about it. Running the ball with just under 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns for Lindsay, 7 and 400 for Freeman. That's not terrible. Receiving, no offense, amazing. 81 catches, 1,200 yards, 13 touchdowns. We got 1,109 from Sutton, 8 and 4 for Higgins, 7 and 3 for Bourne. So a lot of production there through the air for this Broncos offense. Defensively, Monty Rice finishes rookie campaign with 109 tackles, 5 TFLs, and interception. Callahan over 100 tackles, 4 picks, 13.5 sacks, 12 TFLs for Von Miller, 14 TFLs, 7.5 sacks for Epineza. Interceptions look good again. I like the way that at least from a box score standpoint, this Broncos defense does perform. Patrick Mahomes is your MVP. Offensive Player of the Year, Patrick Mahomes. Defensive Player of the Year went to Avery Williamson, ending Von Miller's streak. He's the runner-up. Offensive Rookie of the Year went to Trevor Lawrence, who's now pulling the strings there for that Pittsburgh Steelers offense. Defensive Rookie of the Year went to Monty Rice. I'll take that. Quarterback Mahomes for individual awards. Von Miller, yet again, 3 straight years, the best linebacker in the AFC. But no playoffs here for the Denver Broncos. Let's have a quick turnaround and get back to where we want to be in year 4. I am going through these free agents. This is a terrible free agency class. Marshawn Lattimore could be a big get, but we have Drew Lock's $150 million contract ensuing, and we're not weak at corner this year. Jesus. This is, there are some options here at corner. Don't get me wrong. Someone like Isaiah Oliver. Not a true scheme fit, but we should be able to probably lowball him just a little bit. As long as our bid's high 70s, low 80s worth of points. We'll note that up a little bit. I'll take him just as a solid depth guy because everyone else, like our 2 average age of our corners, like almost 32 years old. So throw a bid here on Isaiah Oliver and maybe strong safety. What's our scheme fit here? We need run support. Edmonds is not too far off run support, to be honest with you. What's it going to take to bring him in here? That's a... We'll give him 5-year, 30 mil. See if he comes. If not, it's no big loss. So we'll try to get 2 guys to come in and fix our secondary. But other than that, man, not a overly impressive free agency class yet again. So first random generated draft class. So there's some guys that are jumping off the board. It is very strong secondary. And we have Langford, who didn't attend the combine, got a first-round grade. We know what those players tend to be. But this guy looks insane. Jeffrey Isaac from Boston College. Top skills look great. But we have to go Langford. Please give me hidden dev. Please give me hidden dev. There's a very good chance this guy is a superstar X Factor, given our hidden dev trait method, which works about 95% of the time. 92 speed. We got 77 press. Almost a scheme fit. Please be an X Factor. We need someone to be the successor to Chris Harris Jr. So let's look at our first random generated draft class. How well did we do? So we got James Langford, who we're praying comes out as an X Factor, to just trust the method. Then I just went best player available, and this guy's name's awesome. Top 5 all-time name, JoJo Colombo from Buffalo, 68, looks pretty solid. We got Gabriel Hensley from Southern Miss, comes out as a 71. This guy's a tremendous pick. Lindsay Orchard out of BYU in the 6th round, 68, hidden dev trait lineman. Those guys are unreal. They come really good trade value, even if they don't emerge as starters. We get a 69 tackle here, Rayshawn McGarity, and then just a solid depth. Special team safety, Spillman out of Navy. But Langford, please be X Factor. Please be an X Factor. 4 for the Denver Broncos, looking to get back into the playoffs. Here's our offense. Drew Lock has got promoted from star to a superstar after last year's numbers. He was 3rd in passing yards, 8th in touchdowns. He got last ditch and bulldozer. Really weird abilities, but cool. Courtland Sutton got promoted to a superstar X Factor last season with Rack 'em Up. He would have got that Super Bowl week. Hell yeah, based upon his performance. This is a look here at our offensive line. I'm actually probably going to get Orchard, who does have the hidden dev. We'll slide him in at right guard. Anytime you get any lineman with a dev trade, it is going to be worth it. I hate that when you modify, just why would you make that change? Stupid AI. Anyways, Noah Fant, best tight end in football, 91, superstar X Factor. Looking to continue his trend. I think it's 3 straight years of 1,000 yards and double-digit touchdowns. Flipping to the defense. So we have no changes in terms of dev traits, but we did draft Langford, who we hope is amazing, because we have 2 super old corners. So Langford and Isaiah Oliver probably is the future of the secondary here. We brought in Edmonds by free agency, former first-round pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's at 82. And we're definitely looking for Monty Rice now to take a big step in his sophomore season as the starter at middle linebacker. And per the norm, regardless of where our bye is, here in year 4, we have 3 wins after the bye. Bottom dwellers in the AFC West, I don't know what's going on. Statistically speaking, Drew Lock playing like a almost top 5 quarterback. Mystery. It's a mystery. Looking at upgrades, we'll just quickly spin these. Most of these guys are scheme fits now, which is good. Looking at contracts, so first of all, I see Bradley Chubb's there. We want to re-sign him for sure. 4-year deal, 60-some mil. Chris, maybe Callahan on a 1-year deal. Pick and choose. Chris Harris kind of, he hasn't, I don't know. Hasn't played particularly well. Dalton Risner, we'll get him 3-year deal, keep him until he's 30. Drew Lock, $166 million, but we've committed to him long term to be our rebuild quarterback. Draymond Jones has been solid. We get him almost $2 million cap hit there. The rest of these dudes are gonna have to bounce. So I do want to pick at least one of these guys to come back. Maybe if Chris Harris takes this 1-year deal, we'll bring him back. They both. You know what? Maybe we'll just get young. We have Isaiah Simmons and that guy that we drafted, which I kind of want to leave what his depth trade is as a surprise to me and you at season's end. So really, we probably could just shuffle out this secondary and get really, really young this offseason. Despite a huge finish, week 17, 48-31, bottom dwellers in the AFC West. Yet 86 overall. Quickly looking at our stats, Drew Lock, pretty good again. I mean, it's pretty much the norm, 4,300 yards, 34 touchdowns. Run game has dropped off a little bit. Receiving, Noah Fant, he does what he does. 67 catches, 1,200 yards, 11 touchdowns. Almost 1,207 for Sutton, 770 and 6 for Mr. T. Higgins. Defensively, big year, Monty Rice. Von Miller's getting old. He's getting old. Ebenezer not bad. Interceptions definitely have dropped off. Tua's your MVP. Langford, love seeing that. Defensive Rookie of the Year. Oh, please be X Factor. We need it. Joey Sly with the best kicker too. But please be a superstar X Factor. Come on. Come on. Oh, it's that 5% of the time it doesn't work out. Still not bad, 76 star, but you know, the fact that we're letting Callahan and Chris Harris walk in free agency and he's not a superstar. Well, let's get into year 5. So for free agency, we're actually going to spend a little money. I thought for a second about potentially Quinnen Williams, but I'm going to try to go a little bit cheaper. So we have Rashawn Gary, who I actually think can be a 3-4 end, 3-4 outside line. He's so damn versatile. So I'm going to try to bring him in and be a defensive end. And then I'm just lowballing David Long Jr., 25-81. We're completely revamping this cornerback room. And if we can lowball him and still bring him in and add him to the room, that's good business. Okay, we got Long. We didn't get Gary, but Long on a super affordable deal. I like it. We literally have we have the 3rd pick and no needs really. We don't have a 3rd wide receiver. It's a weak class defensively. So this is going to be our pick at pick 3. Ramon Little at a Tennessee, 6'5", 223. Looks good at face value. 74, number 13 and true. We got him at pick 3. He's a good player, but not exactly maximizing the value here at pick 3. As we finish up the draft, our draft it was a solid draft. It definitely was a solid draft. After Little, we got Cadrin Durham, who actually we're going to slide inside to play with Monty Rice, 73. Aiden Dev, let's actually just make him straight up a middle linebacker. His skill set suits that. He's not like a speed rusher or anything crazy. 2-point hit, as expected. We got a 70 D tackle, Joe Kendricks, solid. Linebacker, we got a 70 right tackle. We didn't get any real good dev traits, but generally speaking, it was a solid draft. And 2 hidden devs here. If one of those guys can come anything better than a star, we're laughing as we get ready for year 5. Year 5, trying to get back to the playoffs, trying to even get back to over 500. We're at 85 overall across the board. Changes on the offense. Little will be getting some nice starting minutes as a rookie. Offensive line essentially remains the same. We'll go Orchard start at right guard with the dev trade. Going to the defense, little to no turnover whatsoever. He brought in David Long, absolute bargain as a corner. He's going to be corner 2 on our roster. Durham, our second round hidden dev linebacker, is going to play with Monty Rice in the center of this defense. Other than that, man, we're trying to win with what we got in year 5. Whose ass do I get a kiss for us to come out of the bye in any year with more than 3 wins? Sitting here again, 3-5-1. I guess technically still in it in the West, but it's looking like another year that we are just going to turn around and waste. Contracts for sure, Noah Fant. He's the star of the rebuild so far. We want him back. Von Miller, 1-year deal. We'll take him back. T. Higgins been a pretty nice option here as a wide receiver 3, considering we can get him for almost in $3 million cap hit per year. It's not too bad. Cushenberry's been a solid center. I definitely want to see him continue to grow and develop. I think we can get him into the 80s, no questions asked. What's this deal if we give him $5 million? A lot of our depth guys aren't really worth re-signing at this point. So yeah, good business. We'll let Billings walk. It's replaceable. He's not putting up big numbers. But what is pretty dope is Little, the wide receiver that we got in the first round, came out superstar dev, which is great. 6'5", 230, superstar dev. Cool. The linebacker, Durham, star, but I'll take a star and a superstar all damn day. And what a fitting way to end part 1 of the Denver Broncos rebuild. Another season, 2 ties, no idea what's going on. So everything's still to play for in part 2. We had a pretty good foundation. Everything is predicated on Noah Fant just being simply absurd. But we're in 87 overall, and we only have 1 AFC West title to show for it for 5 years, which is not good at all. Big year, Drew Lock. What? 1st in yards, 5th in touchdowns. That should actually be potentially an X-Factor dev trait to kick off part 2, which could completely turn this rebuild on its head. 4,600 yards, 37 touchdowns, 7 picks for Drew Lock. Outstanding season. We got over 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns for Lindsay. Ramon Little, the rookie. 1st round, top 5 pick. Selected at pick 3. 67 catches, almost 1,200 yards, 11 touchdowns. Over 1,012 for Fant. Almost 1,003 for Sutton, 706 for T. Higgins. I mean, this team's like essentially like the Chargers, like the Phillip Rivers Chargers. Really good tight end, 3 really good wide receivers, and no playoffs. Like it's creepy. Look at the defense. Monty Rice, over 100 tackles for the rookie Durham out of Oregon, as well as 4.5 sacks. We got 12 sacks from Von Miller, 7 from Chubb, 6 from Epineza, 6 from Draymond Jones, 3 picks from David Long Jr. We were 10th in offense and 30th in deep. Not good enough. Yearly awards, Lamar Jackson is your MVP. Drew Lock coming in at number 8 overall. Offense player of the year went to Patrick Mahomes. Drew Lock coming in at 3. Defense player of the year went to Darren Lee. Offensive rookie of the year went to Ramon Little. Awesome. Had a huge year. Definitely deserved it. Defensive rookie of the year went to Cadrin Durham. So getting big production from our 2 big investments from the draft. Drew Lock is runner-up for quarterback. And for individual awards, we had the best kicker in back-to-back years in Joey Sly. Yeah, that's pretty much the best way to end this video. We have the best kicker back-to-back years. That might be the best thing going for this team right now. No, but I mean, obviously, if with that performance, Drew Lock can go up to an X factor. If we can kick off years 6 through 10 with a superstar X factor quarterback to go along with a fresh new superstar wide receiver, I think we're going to be dangerous. I think we are going to be dangerous. And even though, we're getting ready for a change of the guard, I mean, Von Miller's probably near the end of his career, and he's the most notable Denver Broncos still left in this roster. Everything that we've got that's new, Drew Lock, Noah Fant in particular, has me being optimistic that we're going to be able to get a Super Bowl when all is said and done. But overall, a failure of a first 5 years where we set the foundation for us to really take off in part 2 of this video. So I hope you guys did enjoy this, and I hope you guys did enjoy Noah Fant really becoming the greatest tight end in the National Football League, and Drew Lock being one of the best young quarterbacks in the National Football League, and hopefully we can kick off with an X Factor in the next video. So if it's your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button, smash the like button if you enjoyed, and until next time, it's C4 saying peace out.
Money I'm spending, I'm out and I'm shopping. You talking that shit, well you talking and talking. Look at my options, look at me dropping. Ass in the game, like who are you stopping? Not me, not me, not never. Not me, not me, not never. Not me, not me, not never. I'm way too clever. Look at the kid, Mr. Consistent, I'm doing it big. Way too persistent on